Hey guys, Tommy here, the Tommy Borg, with a speed comparison with the iPhone 4 versus that of the iPod Touch 4th generation. So we're going to get started now. I've already powered them off, and I've cleared out the cookies, cache, and data. I've closed down all the background suspended apps, and I jumped to my Safari settings and did everything. I also set the browsers to private mode to prevent it from caching anything. So let's go ahead and start the boot up. So the iPod Touch 4th generation started faster. Now keep in mind that the software versions are different. The iPhone 4 is running iOS 7 while the iPod Touch is running iOS 6. So that may differ a little bit. I should let you know that the iPod Touch has a little problem with the LCD because I pressed on it hard one day and it got that circle thing. But at least we have the iPod Touch 4G coming up first. And the home button is also broken on the iPod Touch 4G, so I have that little box there. Yeah. Okay, so we have them both set up. So now let's slide to unlock. And now we're going to start out the test by launching apps. So let's start with Calendar. So the iPod Touch loaded up faster. The iPhone 4 took 2 seconds. Let's launch iTunes. So it looks like the iPhone 4 loaded it faster. The iPod Touch is still loading its content. And of course the iPod Touch has a different store because it's running iOS 6 versus iOS 7. Let's try App Store. iPhone 4 1 there. iPod Touch was still loading. Reminders. My battery's low. My battery's low. Okay, the iPhone 4 loaded up that faster. Let's try music. Now I don't have any music on here, so it's just going to be loading no content. It's just going to be launching the app. So the iPhone 4 1 there. And let's try Passbook. iPhone 4 1 there. 1 second behind of the iPod Touch. Let's try let's try Newsstand. Let's see. Whoops. So hold on, let me just move that out of the way. It was a fail. Let's try that again. So it looks like I really can't tell the difference. Looks like they both launched up at the same time. I don't know. Now we're gonna launch voice control. Now it's gonna be a little tricky because the home button, as I said here, is broken. Although it does work, it does have a little malfunctioning problem. So we're gonna try getting them at the same time. Now voice control is gonna be different. Now we're not gonna say anything. We're just gonna be booting up voice control. So let's go ahead and do that. So looks like the iPod Touch launched faster, and this was maybe 2 seconds behind. And let's cancel that right now. Now let's launch Safari and let's load up some websites. Now keep in mind that since we are going to be using the internet, they're going to be robbing each other's bandwidths over the internet because we're connected to Wi-Fi. But we're going to try anyway. And we're going to load New York Times because that's the most famous website, I guess, in the world. Because it has pretty good content. Now let's... oops. Oops. don't know where I got that from. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I typed it in. So 1, 2, 3, go. It's actually loading the mobile site. So we're gonna scroll down. Now let's see how fast we scroll, and let's see which one renders them faster. Looks like the iPhone 4 renders a little bit more faster than the iPod Touch. This was a little more laggy. So now let's view the desktop site where we're going to do a lot of pinching and zooming and fooling around with it. So 1, 2, 3, go. Oops. So I guess they were about the same. So now let's do one at a time to see which one renders it faster. So it's much choppier here. It is a little responsive, but most of the time it's not responsive on the 4th gen. Let's try pinching. So it is much choppy. Takes a little more time. So it is much choppy here on the 4th gen because it's trying to do all my fingerprints and recognitions. And now let's try the iPhone 4. Scrolling is good. Pinching, again, a little unresponsive, but I have to say that the iPhone 4 does a better job than the iPod Touch. Now let's see which one clears up text faster. Now since both of these have the Retina display, let's see which one clears up text faster. Whoops. Now I know it's going to be a little hard here because I don't actually have a tripod. So I'm going to try to do this together. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess they both cleared up text faster. I really couldn't tell. It's a little cumbersome, at least in my environment, at least the things I'm using, because I'm using a Royal Caribbean board here, because my wall is all scratched up and stuff. I just don't want to show that. Now let's launch the camera app. Very important. Very important. Now the iPod Touch... I'm just going to explain the RAM. The iPod Touch has 256 megabytes of RAM, while the iPhone 4 has 512 megabytes of RAM. So after the camera app, we're going to be launching in-app switching, which is the multitasking. So now let's see which ones do better. So now we're going to be using the volume rocker and the shutter buttons, but let's go ahead and show you which one does it faster. Takes a picture faster. It is a little laggy here, now with the volume button. It is a little smoother with the volume button on the 4th gen, but it is a little laggy. Now let's try with the iPhone 4. Now I have to say that the iPhone 4 is a little better, because remember, it's a 5 megapixel sensor that takes photos in 720p. So obviously it's doing a lot more metering. So I have to say that the iPhone 4 takes a little more faster photos. But it's a little slow. Now the additional RAM on the iPhone 4 and the iPod Touch seems to help with the state of closed apps. So for example, if we relaunch open apps I've done during this comparison video, let's see, let's do iTunes. Well, they both didn't suspend properly. Now let's try what app we were just in. Let's try Safari. Okay, the iPod Touch stuttered, but they both suspended it properly. Let's try the camera. Of course they didn't suspend it properly because they're obviously trying to reload their content. Let's try one more. Let's try the calendar. The iPhone 4 suspended it properly while the iPod did not. So in the end, both devices, I'm having a hard time recommending both of them. It's hard. Really, what I'm trying to say is it's hard for me to pick which device to choose. Obviously, since the filming of this video of the iPhone 5s and 5C have already been released, so you might obviously might go with these, but let's say that you're a kid and you want a more cheaper device from Apple. I mean, the iPhone 4, it's a very nice device. It has more RAM, and it does keep up with the latest versions of iOS. Although iOS 7 is gonna be its maxed out version because iOS 8 will be coming out in the fall, according to WWDC 2014. So the iPhone 4 won't get it. The iPhone 4, it's a nice device. It's made entirely out of glass and stainless steel. I think I could recommend the iPhone 4 for kids, unless if you could get this from Amazon, without a SIM and stuff. Now, for people who want the iPod Touch, I don't know about the iPod Touch because it does stutter a little bit, and of course it has reached its max point, iOS 6, so it cannot go up any further. But maybe I could recommend it. I'm having a hard time, but I know I could recommend the iPhone 4 if you could get this. So that was the comparison of the iPod Touch 4th generation versus the iPhone 4. The iPhone 4 suspended more apps properly. This is actually my first time doing my first speed test on this channel, but I will be doing another one in a couple of weeks. So don't forget to subscribe, and please comment, please subscribe, and thanks for watching my videos. And if you like my channel, Tommy Borg, please subscribe to it. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you again in the next one. iPod Touch, shut it down fast. iPhone 4 is still going. Eventually we'll shut down. Okay, that's enough. Okay, there we go, shut down. Bye-bye. Peace.